democracy in Europe, its democratic institutions and discourses are endangered by a multiplicity of internal and external challenges. The rise of right-wing populism undermines liberalism, constitutional checks and balances, and empowers authoritarian practices. The rise of social media disinformation, echo chambers, and market monopolization practices have further polarized societies and aggravated existing social, ethnic, and economic fissures. The authoritarian state-driven active interference from rising global powers, China and Russia, has been leveraged through a wide variety of tools, including military, diplomatic, political, and economic influence and disinformation. Therefore, democracy finds itself squeezed between the twin authoritarian challenges of Russia and China and the domestic governance vulnerabilities. The Center for the Study of Democracy has pioneered the Kremlin playbook investigations into the range of economic and political tools that Russia deploys in order to leverage its influence in Central and Eastern Europe. We have identified that the governance vulnerabilities and democratic deficits of Balkan states have represented a key facilitating factors to the expansion of Kremlin's economic presence. The sheer size of this presence is concentrated in a few critical economic sectors, particularly in energy, and is enabled by local kleptocratic networks which reinforce dependence on Moscow. The Kremlin has gradually revived both the more traditional elements of its hard power, such as aggressive military and political posturing, alongside covert operations or active measures across Europe. The development of other strategies, while less visible, is no less alarming. For instance, the Kremlin has been cultivating ties, both officially and unofficially, with European political parties in a bid to challenge the existing European order from within. Clearly, in its choice of political partners, the Kremlin favors these inclined towards obstructionism and thereby prone to political fragmentation. Russia has also sweetened the retirement plans of many European countries' top officials by providing them with lucrative jobs on the boards of state-owned and private Russian energy and banking companies. Most notably, this has happened for German and Austrian former chancellors and ministers. This military political aggressiveness has been accompanied by constant intimidation by the Kremlin and its foreign ministry. Their targets are the EU, NATO, and European institutions, but most of all, the most vulnerable countries of Central and Eastern Europe and the Balkans. In the Kremlin's state capture power, mixed propaganda and disinformation have become crucial instruments in the amplification of Russian influence in Europe. Media capture has played an important role due to its very high impact and importance in the political process and in institutional checks and balances in the European Union democracies. In using the media to bolster its power agenda, the Kremlin opts for the medium that is most trusted in a given media landscape. While this is typically social media, nowadays, the popularity of traditional mainstream outlets would also make candidates for political alliances for the Kremlin. Multilingual, state-sponsored channels such as RT, Sputnik, and Russia Beyond services the Russian diaspora, but also caters to Eurosceptic public across Europe. The translation of Russian media content into local languages facilitate coverage favoring the Kremlin's agenda. Journalists, typically freelancers, providing such content are given privileged access to information or areas where other media are restricted, like for example the war in Syria. The credibility of the content is boosted by hack reporters distributing of content to domestic journalists or overseas media, thus creating the impression that a piece of information is really widespread.
In an upcoming report, CSD zooms in on the anti-democratic challenge through a comparative focus on the main Russia-sponsored disinformation messages and the corresponding ability to tackle authoritarian state-driven disinformation in 4 European countries: Bulgaria, Poland, the Czech Republic, and Germany. We evaluate the disinformation response capacities of these countries on 3 main levels: government, civil society, and international institutions, and we further detail key resilience assets and liabilities. We look at disinformation narratives in 4 types of media: Russia-owned, pro-Russian locally owned, mainstream local, and local political outlets.